For decades, the Dungeon of Naheulbeuk has been one of the crown jewels of the lands of Fang.
Huh, that's funny. I never heard of it when I was studying for my Bitter Warlock Sidekick certification.
Public relations are tough for independent dungeons.
Oh, aren't you affiliated with the Dungeons Fund?
With those unscrupulous parasites? Never. But we do have the most insidious traps, the most cunning guards, the most dreadful monsters, and the most remarkable treasures.
How delightful! May I look around?
No, we've been renovating. The paint's still wet.
Ah, too bad.
Despite our reputation being well established, I've decided that this dungeon needs to take things to the next level.
Yes, the ad made that very clear.
And I need more time for my magical research.
Certainly. So, about my compensation,
Well, let's not quibble over trifles. I'm aligned with industry norms. Not to mention, there's the gratification of joining a renowned wizard.
Yes, of course. May I meet the other members of the team?
Well, actually, not today. They're attending a seminar for process improvement. You know what I mean.
Process?
The clock is ticking, and you're not the only applicant. What's your decision? This is a once-in-a-lifetime offer.
I'm interested. Not like I have a choice anyway. No one's hiring half-goblins. There's too much discrimination in this sector. All right, I'm in.
Perfect. You made the right choice. And now?
Yes?
Get to work, you wretch! I don't pay people to stand around.
Yes, Master. All right, let's see. Where is the dungeon staff? What state are the premises in? I'll have a look around the property. I wonder if signing this contract was such a good idea.
What? My time is precious.
Excuse me?
Master?
Master, if I may, isn't it a bit strange for an evil dungeon to have its tavern open to the public?
Ah, yes, well, it's a convenient way to make some money. But I'm not very good at managing it.
I see. Well, it could prove to be useful. So, where was I?
Keep asking and the whip will answer.
We'll never be able to retain our staff with such rundown premises, Master.
I have no money to spend on a luxury lounge for my lazy servants.
Oh, but it's a matter of standards. Take the Temple of Wismo, for example. They have 18 toilets just for the servants.
What? Those frauds. Well, do what you must, but don't go overboard. We're not running a hotel.
Let's see. We won't get anywhere without bathrooms, for starters. Chamber pots and manure heaps are so last century. Perfect! We now have a decent bathroom. Now, dormitories with beds.
I don't pay you to nap.
Speaking of payment,
Later. Super busy, magical research and all that.
I think I'll have to put a little slush fund aside. Master, the living quarters improvements are complete.
Not bad, but very expensive. We'll have to find some more money. If I'd wanted to go bankrupt, I'd have hired an interior designer.
I hear you, but given the state of the dungeon, I'm not sure how we could defeat a party of adventurers, even beginners.
If we're not up to snuff, it'll be your fault, entirely.
But I just got here and, well, I do serve an evil wizard, not a charity. We have to develop this tavern to bring in some income.
The old tavern keeper is gone. Yet another ungrateful coward. I'm not dealing with this anymore. I've got better things to do. I must focus on my magical research and developing my management skills.
I can handle it. So let's see. We need tables for customers, equipment for serving food and drinks.
In the meantime, I shall subscribe to a few periodical publications about evil dungeon management. We need to get this up to date.
I wonder if he knows what he is doing.
Don't you overspend. We want to extort gold from the poor, not waste our money on furniture for drunkards.
By the Troll's Limp! Minions use a tavern as their canteen. We should take that into account. There. Table and sideboard. This should be enough to lure in a few dupes.
I hired an evil dungeon steward, not a lunch lady.
Indeed, Master. But we need some revenue. Look, all these customers should earn us some gold.
Orlov for debrief, Master. Hey, what's with this dull-looking goblin?
Half-goblin? Who is this brute?
He is the dungeon swordmaster and guard commander. So, are you back from the retaliatory raid?
Affirmative. We made it to target location, the so-called Temple of Wismal. Enemy ambush fighting. 100% loss rate on our side. Debrief over.
What? You turkeys!
I was injured 6 times myself. We were expected. I am the guard commander, not a marauder. This requires specific operational preparation.
Clearly. This doesn't speak highly about your abilities.
Who asked you, you withered piece of lettuce?
Silence, you two! Reivax is our new steward. As for you, Orloff, maybe I should get a new swordmaster.
Certainly, sir. But I'll complain to the Guild of Mercenaries and Dungeon Guards. This wasn't in my job description.
Ugh. Cursed be the bowels of the great Tavern! I'm so sick of these union demands! Beat it, both of you! I'm going back to my research.
I think we'd better try to collaborate. In our mutual interest, Sword Master.
Yeah, affirmative. For now, you little... yes, steward.
This failed raid explains why this dungeon is so badly guarded. Anyone can just waltz in. If we want to get rid of adventurers, we should deal with slackers first.
Affirmative. The downsizing caused by the incursion attempt on the Temple of Wismal is weighing on staff rotation. We must recruit new elite guards.
Guards are expensive. I read in Dungeons and Despots that support roles should be outsourced as part of a atomized management of the company's processes.
Don't you mean optimized, Master?
Silence! You know nothing of modern dungeon management vocabulary. As for you, improve the guard, but with no superfluous expenses.
We could hire a few interns. They shouldn't cost us much. We'd just have to think about feeding them from time to time.
Affirmative. That's it for now. I'll bring them up to speed. Trust me on that. Attention! At ease. The first interns have arrived. Soldiers, attention! Line up in pairs in the front rank. I only want to see one head.
I'm curious to see how he goes about training them.
Ideally, we should find a pile of dirt and make them dig a hole to bury him.
But that's absurd!
Negative. This is training through blind obedience. To think is to disobey. Come on the double, rookies. Up, two, up, two, up, two.
That's right! Aim for the knees and the eyes. Be sly and cruel. Honor and chivalry are for losers.
Orloff for debrief. The intruders were evicted from the perimeter. Clean sweep.
Ah, finally. This is a dungeon, not a squat for teenage pipe-smoking dropouts. Reivax! Why are my minions so agitated? I can't focus in such a ruckus.
One of the servants is on strike, Master. He's protesting against his working conditions.
I could send the guards to slaughter this slacker. Civilians are so entitled.
I'm not sure that's the best approach for retaining competent staff, Master. We must listen to his demands and fulfill them, if they're legitimate.
I don't care about the specifics. I just need this rocket silenced. Deal with it, or you'll get the whip! Incidentally, there's an article in Dungeons and Despots about the psychological torture of middle management minions.
I need a break.
Out with the striker! It'll make an example of him. Still, I should try to make sure it doesn't happen again. It's done, Master. Everything is back to normal. The strike is over.
About time. Let's move on. I've just been informed that the Temple of Wismal has increased its reputation, while we've been sitting on our haunches whistling nursery rhymes.
We should limit the risk of strikes. The dungeon won't be able to repel adventurers with disgruntled minions.
Affirmative. To smash those little snoopers, you need motivated, and therefore well-fed, guards.
These matters are unworthy of a high-level wizard. They're better suited for interns.
Of course, Master. I'll see what I can come up with. But we'll need a cook.
As long as they're not too expensive and can cook sumptuous meals. Bear and beer stew, for example.
It's also necessary to adapt the food to each species. If we serve elfish fare to goblins, they'll start eating the elves too.
Orc ready to do stuff!
Ahoy! I heard you're looking for a cook?
Well, yes, but I just hired one. An orc cook. It's the best I could afford.
I sure am! I've been a cook, a barber, adventurer, surgeon, executioner, and embalmer. I can peel and bone like nobody's business. Mel Boots, here to serve you, with a preference for ale. Anyway, do you have someone for your tavern?
Well, actually, we don't. It is true we could use a good tavern keeper, but my budget's a bit tight.
I'll skim my pay off the take. Come on, you won't regret it. I'll turn it into a first-class boozing den. All of Fang will come here to get hammered. Just gotta keep the dishes real salty.
Gotcha! Relocating towards the bar. March! Huff two! Huff two!
Master, we have significantly improved the minions' living conditions. And for cheap, too.
And we'll serve 'em good. Cheap plunk, hard ale, and sausage that'll dry out your gullet.
What? Who is this individual?
It's, Mel, the new tavern keeper. I'll explain.
My patience is running thin. We spend too much on nonsense here, and our reputation is stagnating.
Hey, no offense, but your dungeon's got quite a stench, don't you think? Reeks like a bunch of dead rats.
What? No, it doesn't. We just cleaned the mess and fired the slackers.
Just saying, but this morning I saw a cockroach so grossed out it puked. Mind you, I'm not the kind to wash the mugs every day or to take more than one bath a month, but hey, there are limits to filth.
It is true that to attract a certain class of customers or servants, we'll need to raise our standards. Cleaning, improving sanitary facilities, and hiring decent domestics.
Yep, exactly. Elves will do the trick. I know they're a bunch of lettuce munchers who think they're hot dung, but they don't mess around with cleanliness.
Oh, but what might this object in the shower be? A faucet? I see! Fascinating!
Reivax! The Temple of Wismal had marble columns installed. I just saw the etchings in the Dungeons and Despots magazine.
Oh, not again with that rag.
We need to revamp my dungeon's decor. This is an essential aspect of the prolificacy of this organization's processes.
Productivity, Master? But you said we don't have the funds to...
Just make some improvements, or I'll turn you into a flower pot. and stop contradicting my managerial guidelines, or you'll get your termination notice from Orloff's crossbow. I'm quite pleased with my choice of decor. I shall write to the Dungeon Owners Association of Fang to share my creative insights.
I hope this won't get us into trouble.
Hello, I'm looking for the master of the Dungeon of Naheulbeuk.
Well, I am his steward. How may I help you?
I'm here about the letter he sent to the Dungeon Owners Association of Fang.
Are you going to publish his article on interior decoration?
I don't know. This is a matter for the DOAF Gazette editorial board. I am Doris Mortadella, head inspector of the Dungeons Fund. I'm here for your membership application.
What? The DF? But, we didn't apply for membership. There must be some mistake.
Your master wrote to the DOAF. According to DOAF regulations, any such communication is to be considered as a membership application to its parent company, the Dungeons Fund, unless expressly stated otherwise.
But that's... oh, pus and boils! This is utter nonsense! What if we refuse to join?
That is your right. In accordance with the DF regulations as ratified through case law by all courts in the lands of Fang, we would be entitled to a compensation of 200,000 gold coins.
200... What? That's racketeering!
It'd be easier to join the DF like most proper dungeons. I will have your master sign the documents. A measly 412 scrolls for a small dungeon like yours.
Pox and mutant rats!
Reivax! In my office! Immediately!
Congratulations on joining the Dungeons Fund. I will now share with you all my initial reports requiring immediate action on your part.
By Gazor's tentacles! I can't believe we got played like this! Oh, I can already feel one of my migraines coming on. Relax! Deal with it!
I've noted you lack a space dedicated to temporary interruptions of the activity of the staff, assuming the dungeon's ancillary functions. This can hurt their performance and the profitability of secondary revenue sources.
Damn, my Hermetic Administration class seems like a lifetime ago. Are you asking for a break room for our minions, so that they stop hanging out at the tavern?
A crude simplification, but this would be a good starting point for a plan of action, yes.
gaming table, the minions will get some distraction.
Ah, kudos, my friend. That should stop them from wearing out the tavern benches.
Done! A perfectly functional break room for the dungeon's minions.
This is supposed to be an evil dungeon, not a resort for slackers. What's next? A temple of Dlul complete with giant nap room?
Interesting. I shall continue to evaluate the performance of your organization's procedural sub-functions, as well as the effectiveness of any actions supporting your primary processes.
Oh, kill me now! Greetings, employees! You're listening to Dungeon Radio, the radio of Zangdar's busy little minions. Toiling all day keeps the master's whips at bay. And now, back to our goblin host, Jimmy Killimal.
Hey, shouldn't we try to upscale the tavern while the pen pusher's still deep in her paperwork? If we take too long, we'll get our cash flow sucked dry by the whims of the DF.
It is true that getting a dungeon into compliance is very expensive. What would our tavern need to bring us more returns?
Well, I've had it with lugging bottles around. We need to be able to tap a few kegs. Then, get someone to serve the plunkin' ale. Fast booze flow equals fast cash.
Perfect. Let's take care of this while the master is busy elsewhere. He'll be grateful someday.
Yep, and so will our purses. Let's booze up the whole country and rake in the coins. All this sobriety and moderation stuff is only good for monks and elves. Our Tripe advisor ranking will soar. Done! Our first keg tap. Looking good. Well, it's just some local ale for now, but we'll look around for deals on higher grade stuff.
Ah, it does have kind of a sock juice aftertaste.
Done! Business is a-booming. Drunks are pouring in, and we've diversified our clientele. We run an inclusive establishment, as they say. One for all for alcohol.
Perfect. And master's none the wiser.
Raising your standards without letting the guards in on it? You're done for, you rascals! My report is on its way, unless we can reach a deal.
We'll negotiate. Discreetly.
I have identified another item of non-compliance of one of your dungeon's primary sub-processes that prevents it from being eligible for exploration. Your organization suffers from chronic underinvestment in its inventory for the capabilities of tooling and other crafting appliances.
Reivax, take care of this immediately, or I'll turn you into a screwdriver.
Yes, master.
your hammer blows echoing in my dungeon?
Well, Master, we built a workshop following your orders.
This won't help with my research. It generates too much cosmoplumic havoc. Well, at least I hope it'll be helpful in bringing my grandiose plans to fruition.
I will carry out a qualitative audit of this technical support structure and give you an appropriate report. It would seem you're approaching minimum acceptable standards.
Holy cow! I don't know what those fund folks fuel up on, but it's no joke. Plum moonshine, perhaps?
I'm sorry, but the fund considers your reputation insufficient to justify opening your dungeon for exploration.
So how are we supposed to raise our reputation if we can't open the dungeon?
You could transfer a compensation of a few thousand gold coins to the fund, which would increase your reputation.
But this is blatant extortion!
What?
Something wrong, human?
Huh?